Luke is a freak. I mean, he's like, Luke's like, you checked the mail? Like, the second the mailman came.
And Jayde's a lot more laid back, and so it irritates me sometimes because I'm like, come on, get a little fire under your ass a little bit, you know?
And Luke's like, whoa, we need to like think about this.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why?
A little ahead of time.
Why do we think? Like, let's just do. An interesting story, so I mean, I'm trying to figure out how much I should say or not say. Because he's like, you sure you want to marry me? Like, you're sure? And he kept asking those questions, so I'm like, yeah.
I think Jayde and I would like to thank our families and friends for being here. I mean, without you guys, we wouldn't be here.
It takes a village, so we wouldn't be here without you guys. We are so incredibly thankful that you guys take time out of your days to celebrate our future with us. I'm Jayde Olson, and I'm from Hershey, Nebraska. I went to high school at Hershey High. Elementary, kindergarten, high school, all the same building. I went to UNL, and then after I graduated UNL, I went on to work for a pharmaceutical company called Merck as a pharmaceutical rep for close to 3 years. And then I moved home, and now I'm managing my family's feedlot with my dad. You know, my parents always valued Christianity, honesty, and a good work ethic, and being kind to others. I think those are 3 core values that were instilled in me.
Hi, my name's Luke Winklebauer. I'm from Norfolk, Nebraska. Born and raised here. I went to school at Sunny Meadow here in Norfolk, and then went to Christ Lutheran. And then for high school, I went to Lutheran High Northeast. After high school, I went to Northeast Community College in Norfolk, and got my electrician's degree and an agribusiness degree, associates. And after that, I've always been farming with my dad and raising cattle, and still to this day, I'm still doing that. The values that my parents have instilled in me is a lot of hard work. We're a big Christian family. Being accountable for your actions.
Luke and I met at Barry's rooftop.
At Barry's in Lincoln, at a bar.
And it was the last game day of the year in November, and he was on a bachelor party.
And ran into her, and some of the things I remember right away from her was her big smile, very pretty, and just we hit it off. Her personality, and we're fun, and she was wearing a blue jean jacket, I can remember that.
I remember him being really tall. He was really confident, and I thought that was very attractive. Like, confident, not in a cocky way. He was just kind of in the crowd, and he was like, you want a drink? And I was like, maybe. He walked over to me and asked me where I was from, and I told him I lived in Kearney, and he was like, where's Kearney at? Like, who lives in Kearney? And I was like, Kearney's a very well-known town.
Yeah, so I never got her number at first, and didn't think a lot about it. I don't know why, but I didn't.
He never really asked for my number or anything, and I was like, see ya. It was like 3 months later, and he finally found my Snapchat.
And then so we Snapchatted for a few months, and then Jayde's just like, so, like ask for my number or what? And
he kept Snapchatting me back and forth, and I was like, listen, buddy, if you want to talk to me, you have to ask for my number.
In the light of the moon, oh, we're dancing all night to our favorite Timberlake tune. I can't stop this feeling. I'm falling for
So our first date was not exactly romantic. I kind of wanted to see him in his element and kind of feel him out. So I decided, I actually chose, I was like, I want to meet you in Norfolk.
So I kept saying, oh, just come up. And I wouldn't formally ask her. And she's like, hey, I don't like that. You need to actually ask me. And so I was like, yeah, hey, what about like tonight? And she's like, okay. And I was like, oh, she's coming
He's being
up.
sarcastic. He's like, could you pencil me in? Because I asked him, I was like, you need to respectfully ask me on a date at an appropriate time in the afternoon, nothing past 7 o'clock. I thought we were going to dinner, obviously.
Well, actually, I was 45 minutes late, and she was about to leave.
Basically called him, I was like, hey, I'm probably just gonna head out, no biggie. And he's like, no, I'll be there in a second.
And she's like, you knew I was coming up, like, is this more priority than me? I'm like, okay, well, I'm hurrying. And,
first date.
And so I was hustling, and I had my old Ford pickup, and I wasn't cleaned up or anything, and I don't think she was very impressed.
Oh my gosh, I was like, this has never happened to me before. And he showed up in his work vehicle, and he's wearing muddy jeans and a flannel. That awkward moment where you're like, I don't think I can be mad at him, seeing as how I don't really know him, and we haven't been on our first date. But I was definitely like, what in the world? And he just acted so nonchalant about it when he pulled up. He like opened up the door, like, hop in, give me a hug. And I was like, no.
And we jumped in and booze cruised a little bit.
He rifles in his back seat and was like, here, and pulls out a warm Bud Light. And I was like, thank you so much. So I opened the Bud Light, and I'm actually kind of allergic to beer. So I tried drinking the beer, and I just kept sipping on the same beer can. He didn't know, he just thought we were having the best time.
For a while thought I was close, but I got thorns and not a rose. But with you I've got a field of wildflowers. I just love being with you.
First kiss, Jayde and I, that was the first night when she come up to hang out with me.
We had been booze cruising around the feedlots, and he's kind of showing me a couple of farms, and
Driving down the roads, listening to music, having a good time. And
he was checking hay. He's like, don't worry, we're just gonna pull in here quick, and I'm gonna check this hay, or something. Yeah, it was a hay field across the road.
we were getting ready to take off, and I asked if I could have a kiss, and she smiled, and I smiled, and I went in for it.
Very much Luke style. And he definitely kissed me first. Yeah. I knew Luke was the one, not by one certain moment, but by a collaboration of things. He was very different from anyone I've ever met. I remember saying to my mom and calling him like, there's no boys that I'm ever feel like give up myself, like die to myself and sacrifice everything just for them. It's hard to say. I mean, I've been in love before, but Luke was such a deep, understanding kind of love that we both felt the same way. And it was both the first time that either one of us had felt that way. Shared passions, shared values. We could have just so much fun together. And those things sound so simple, but are so hard to find all in one person.
Right away, Jayde was, she was a ball of fire, kind of big sunshine. She was always making me happy, and it was so fun to do things with her. I'd say about, 3, 4, 5 months in, she was up here, she was helping me. She's kind of seen how I was, and I seen how she was, and we become best friends, and it was just really easy. Jayde and I, we've always, since we've met, obviously I think we both knew right away we were the one for each other.
I believe within the first 6 months, I thought we were gonna get married.
And we knew it was gonna happen. I think she would have liked it to happen a little sooner than me.
We started officially dating in June, and I thought that December he was gonna propose, and he got me a pair of earrings. So 2 years after that, We kind of just had a normal day, but he was acting nervous.
I was very nervous.
And I was like, you're weird. We're driving, checking the yard, actually headed to his niece's birthday party.
We just so happened to have a new pen of cattle come in at the feedlot, and I was like, oh, perfect, there's a little extra hay on the ground. I said, well, I'm just gonna park in front of this bunk.
So we were checking the cattle, and he's like, look at all this hay outside the bunk. Someone spilled this. Like, who did this?
And I was like, hey, Jade, why don't you go to the far end? And I said, you know, you start on that end, I'll start on this end, and, you know, we'll just get it done quick. And she's like, Luke, we don't have time for this. And she's like, she was all cleaned up. And
I was kind of cussing him out, and I turned around, and he was down on one knee, and I was totally shocked, and it couldn't have gone better. It was the best surprise.
Oh, the wonder that awaits. Here we are, wherever starts today.
Oh, man.
so one word that describes her. Okay, I'm gonna redo that because that looks terrible.
I would explain Luke as driven because he kind of grew up really early, and it shows in so many ways that challenges really don't faze him. He overcomes all challenges and plows right through them. He's a total bulldog. And I am so proud of that in so many ways, because I know for a fact our family, our future family, will always be taken care of.
One word that explains Jade is a big, fun personality. She's always happy, she's always the life of the party, and always fun to be around.
One time I wrote, I read, because I was doing, of course I get into like these personality type things, and I was like, Luke, you gotta take your personality test, and I'll take my personality test, and we'll read about how well we would mesh together. And it was actually the Enneagram test. So I'm a 7, and he's a 3.
I don't know what that means, but that's what we are.
Like achiever, go-getter, because it talks about like, hey, a 7 and a 3 are magic together. They're magical together. They mesh so well.
That's a good one.
When Luke and I are together, I feel like we really feed off of each other.
Yeah, we get along so well. You know, we kind of know each other's next move and what we're gonna say, and there's no, like I said, there's no dead spots. We're never stuck. It's always just go.
I'm so excited to start an adventure with you. I can't wait to work as a team. We've overcome so many challenges to this point, and I can't wait to see where God takes us.
I'm very thankful for you putting up with me and this long journey that we've had, and how wonderful we're going to make this, and how special this is. And I'm very honored and proud of her to be my wife forever.
When I'm fighting, would you fight with me? Who knows where I'm going? You're the place where I begin. Now I'm running through a dream. Hang on to the moment, it's turning to memory. We'll go where the wind is blowing. You're the place where I begin. When you're falling out of reach, I'll be the tide that's bringing you home to me. And when the sun sets, the lights fading, we'll hang on to the moment as far as our eyes can see. Who knows
I, Luke, in the presence of God and these witnesses, take you, Jade, to be my wife.
I, Jade, in the presence of God and these witnesses, take you, Luke, to be my husband.
To have and to hold,
From this day forward,
better or for worse,
for richer or for poor,
from sickness or for health,
to love and to cherish.
until death parts us.
And I pledge you my faithfulness.
And I pledge you my faithfulness.